I'd like to welcome everybody to the workshop meeting, May 27th. Stand for pledge of allegiance, please. I really
stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Benza. Mayor Ricufrio.
Here.
President Suchvich.
Here.
Ms. Redzak.
Present.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Mr. Jamelis.
Present.
Mr. Long.
I'd like to announce that we have an exec session on May 19th for personnel. Any additional emergency agenda items? Nope. Registered comments from the public. We have one, Brian Ward, 749 ARB.
Yeah, that's the forward or?
Yes.
Approach the podium, please. Thank you.
I'm here to complain, I guess, about my building on all year old alarm. Been here for 3 years now. I have a hole in my neighbor's building beside it. It's a pizza shop. It's an empty property. There's holes in the soffit, there's holes in the roof. I'm getting water through my roof, running through the building into my side of the property. Rats, raccoons, possums. There's Tenille was like 2 buildings down from my side. She had a raccoon come through her ceiling tile while she had something like she was doing someone's hair in there. I've never been here. I've been to the building 3 or 4 times and complained. Tried everything I could to reach out to the property owner. He's in a personal care home. I complained to the code enforcement guy 30 times. It's always, yeah, we're gonna do something, something's gonna happen, something has to happen. 3 years, nothing's happened. And it's just been like one fight after fight with my tenant, threat lawsuits. I want something done about it. Condemn it, tear down every parking lot, wherever it can be done.
Is the hole in the pizza shop side?
Yeah, holes in the pizza shop, and I share a roof. All the buildings are shared the same roof. And they're coming, and the animals are coming in the roof and crawling across my ceiling. I have bubbles in my ceiling now. I have a couple $100,000. It's gonna be hard. So bubbles. I had electricians there 3 times now replacing lights. And my side's, I mean, I have it. My side's fine.
Is it Joe you're talking to?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, there was.
All the time.
Okay.
And it's always, we're gonna do something about it. But nothing's getting done.
Going to court.
It's going to court.
They're filing charges.
Who's filing charges?
Yeah.
Joe is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something's happening.
Yeah, they're filing charges, so essentially it'll be in the court's hands.
Will I be like present for that or? Like,
Yeah, why don't we know?
yeah, how,
You can look it up in the docket, in the Penn Hills magistrate.
so I'm waiting for like a court date,
You're gonna be
like
waiting.
currently, or I will be, or I
Yes.
am now, or?
You will be waiting for a court date. It'll depend on when the court takes it up.
I'm sure you can call.
You can call the
Magistrate
magistrate's
Luke's office. Find out.
It's on the docket.
People don't know who Joe is. Joe's our code enforcement officer.
Yeah, it's on the docket. So, and he sent them a letter May 9th in 14 days. So.
If council members wanted to come see your building from your side, could we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's open every day, at least besides Sunday, and that's for, it's Jack the Barber's in here currently.
Yeah.
And I mean, the door's open. I'd love for you to come and look at the damage.
Are you available tomorrow?
I can be, I got my number.
It's at 7:49.
Yeah, 740, mine's 747, mine's 749, the issue's 747.
Could you, how long, if you go all the way back, do you think this has been going?
I was good for probably 6 months, and it was the animals that were in there, and it was raccoons.
Yeah, but I don't know what year did you?
Oh, I'm sorry, 2022.
Okay.
That's all I got. I'm back and forth. Like it's a nightmare. I'm fighting with my parents constantly, and I mean, I don't blame. Yeah, he's cutting hairs and still.
Apparently it's in the Lucas office now, so let me give them a call and maybe Stephanie, you can call tomorrow and see if there's anything going on with that.
And Joe, I can contact Joe.
I may suggest, please don't contact Joe, next week or so. He just saw a death in the family and he's gonna fly to California.
All right, I will not test it.
Yeah, but I will make sure that, to look for it.
All right, I'll hear next time.
I get your frustration.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
This time we'll take public comments. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand. Probably your comments of 3 minutes, please.
Good evening, councilmen. To begin, our names are many, but we speak as one voice, the unified voice of the people. Our addresses vary, whether resident or business, but we all stand together as one address. Verona, Pennsylvania, 15147. As residents and businesses, we have sincerely addressed council on a great many issues, none of which have been successfully administered by you. Allow me to clarify the word administered so we can all move forward. The Oxford Dictionary states the definition of this verb as to manage, to be responsible for the running of, to direct, to operate, to conduct, to provide, in short, to govern. Shall I define govern? To lead, to guide, to steer, to pilot, to take care of, and to look after. This in itself has been continues to be an ongoing challenge to Verona residents and businesses as we watch in shock, surprised and appalled at the unbelievable decisions that are made by this council. Supercilious behaviours and aloofness often drive us to demand answers to questions that require validity. Let me just define aloofness. Not friendly or forthcoming, conspicuously uninvolved and uninterested. Supercilious, behaving or looking as though one thinks one is superior to others. May I reassure all of you, you are not superior. President Roosevelt once stated to the American people, do what you can with what you have where you are. And that leads us here, to this room, at this moment. We did what we could with what we had where we are. For years, we have been made to feel unwelcome, our voices challenged not by control, but by manipulation. Our frustrations with the lack of integrity and accountability have given rise to disappointment in leadership, which in itself has caused anger and hostility. Council's lack of empathy for our heartfelt attempts to better our community has caused many more conflicts that continue unresolved. It is on this subject that I now focus your attention. I have served on multiple councils in 3 different countries, and never have I witnessed such intentional disregard, disrespect, and lack of acknowledgement of a natural leader, a law enforcer, a community builder, a business advocate, a veteran, and a local hero, Officer Tom Bixler. This is not only disturbing to our community, residents and businesses, but it is the most appalling display of insult to one man, One man who since coming home to Verona has done more for our community than most have attempted to do in many, many years. Tom Dessel has been chosen by not only his hometown community, but by his hometown businesses as Verona's police chief. It is because of his ongoing determination to encourage and to praise, to listen to the words and opinions of residents and businesses that has given us the confidence to move forward as a people, as a town, to influence others with our good works, as Officer Tom Dessel has influenced us with his. We praise and applaud him. And with that respect, we support him and only him as our next Chief of Police. With relentless enthusiasm, he has planted the seeds of hope and reassurance so the rebirth of a dormant town can begin to develop, and it has begun. We, the people, recognise and support his continued efforts to encourage residents and businesses, giving us all the fortitude we need to build up our town and our community, making Verona strong and safe once more. Officer Dessel not only has the support of those who are here tonight, but the support of a great many more who were unable to attend tonight's meeting. In the words of Giant Eagle General Manager George Sears and Giant Eagle owners, the Rosenberg family, he has our support. We know how this works. Your arrogance has betrayed you. To all applicants, thank you for your interest in the position of Chief of Police in Verona, PA, but the position has now been filled by our own hometown hero, Officer Thomas Dessel. To finish, I'd like to leave you with a quote from one of the most influential orators of our time, Winston Churchill. When faced with the threat of tyranny, this was his reply. We will fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and the oceans. We shall fight on the beaches and we shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall never surrender. And nor will the people of Verona, fighting to support and champion Tom Dessel as Chief of Police of Verona. And no, we will fight because we are the people.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I don't know how I'm gonna follow that, but not here, but everybody knows I'm Leanne Porter, Olam Head. I'm gonna try to follow in, but dear Borough Council member, I'm writing today to strongly advocate for the hiring of one of our own dedicated police officers as the new chief of police. Given their familiarity with our community and proven track record, I believe promoting from within would be the most beneficial choice for our borough. Officer Tom Dessel brings a wealth of valuable experience and a deep understanding of our specific borough and its unique needs. He has actively participated in keeping our community safe and is well versed in the local challenges our police force faces. Promoting from within would recognize his ongoing commitment to our community. Knowing that hard work and dedication can lead to advancement opportunities can be a significant motivator. Furthermore, this approach will ensure a more seamless transition in leadership, as an internal candidate would already be familiar with our existing policies, procedures, and the personnel within the department. Officer Dessel has already established crucial relationships with residents, obviously, local organizations, and other community stakeholders, and possesses firsthand knowledge of the success and areas for improvement on our local law enforcement efforts. This intimate understanding of our borough is an invaluable asset. As you consider candidates for this vital role, I urge you to give significant weight to the qualifications and dedications of Officer Dessel, who is already serving and protecting our borough. His established commitment and understanding of our unique circumstances make him an exceptionally strong contender. I have been a resident of Verona all of my adult life, and never have I felt like Verona has been more of a community than it has since Officer Dessel has joined the police force. Thank you for your time and careful consideration of this important decision. I trust that you will choose a candidate who is best suited to lead our force effectively and listen to the people who actually live and have continued to live in Verona. That's all I'm ready to do.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm on Union Street at 467. I've been a proud member of the Verona community since 2020. I chose to make Verona my home after experiencing the vibrancy and connection of this town during events such as Botany and Booze. It felt like a place where people truly cared about each other, a place where I wanted to plant roots and grow. But not long after moving here, I noticed some of the same challenges that you all have spoken on. Rising crime rates, drug activity, theft, and a growing sense that parts of our community were becoming less safe. Honestly, there were moments where I began to question my decision to buy a home and move here. That all began to shift one afternoon when I waved to a passing police officer, and instead of just waving back, the officer stopped his car and introduced himself. That officer was Tom Dessel. He noted that he hadn't met me before, and when I told him that my partner and I had just recently purchased a home on Union, he asked how things were going. I shared some of the difficult things that we had begun to experience in the neighborhood. Without hesitation, Officer Dessel handed me his phone number and told me to call anytime we needed help. That moment, as simple as it might seem, was a turning point. It reminded me of something that I have always held very true to myself as a nurse, that people matter most. It's not just my professional mantra, for me it's how I try to live. And when I meet others who share that same mindset, especially in positions of leadership, I pay attention. Officer Dessel didn't just see me as another resident. He saw me as a person, someone who deserved to feel safe, respected, and heard. And that is exactly the kind of leadership that we need in Verona. I often hear people ask, how do we bring more people into Verona? And the answer is very simple. The way we attract more good humans, like Officer Dessel, is by bolstering the good humans that we already have. Tom has walked our streets not just as an officer, but as a neighbor. He has listened, shown up, and protected, not for recognition, but because he genuinely believes in doing what is right. Tom isn't just part of our police department. He's part of our community. He knows our families, our schools, our businesses. And most importantly, he knows the values of the people in Verona. He's the kind of man who shows up early, stays late, and never turns away when there's work to be done. Whether it's de-escalating tense situations while on duty or helping to recognize community outreach programs, Tom does it with humility and integrity. Because for him, this has never been about rank or title. It's about Verona. It's about safety. It's about service. We don't need to look outside our town to find strong leadership. We already have it in Officer Dessel. By choosing him, we are choosing trust, dedication, and continuity. We are choosing someone who already knows Verona's heart and has proven time and again that he will protect it with everything he has. Officer Dessel has already proven that he leads with integrity, service, and heart. He doesn't just respond to problems, he builds relationships. He doesn't just enforce laws, he strengthens the community. His kind of leadership isn't something you can train into someone. It's something that is rooted in character and something that is very rare. Choosing anybody but Tom would be a disservice to Verona. Let's not look past the incredible leader that we already have within our community. Officer Dessel is the chief that we all want and that we all need.
Good evening. My name is Bill Romango, R.O. Mango, like group. I live on 454 Union Street, just the hill. And I come to this meeting as a bit of an outsider. I had lived in the city of Pittsburgh for the last 6 years previous to moving here about 2 years ago. I moved in with my future wife Samantha on Union Street. And there was a decision to be made about, where should we live when we move in together. And ultimately, we landed on the borough of Verona and staying in the place that she's at, not only for the school district for her child, but for the fact that it is such a lovely community. My father, Bill Romango Jr., lived here until he died last August, but he lived here from 2011 until he died last August. He lived at 460 Union Street. I assure you it was mere coincidence that I found my girlfriend 2 houses down. But ultimately, for this Officer Tom discussion, I think it's important to note that, when you're trying to promote or you're trying to promote the community, I think that it speaks volumes to say, hey, we have a local guy who's been on the force for a few years. Let's take a chance on that local guy versus something where, hey, let's do an outside search. I come from the corporate and business world, and in that world, it's much easier. It's much more cost effective. And there's just so many better opportunities to promote from within than there is to bring someone in and basically retrain them on whatever the job is. In this case, the job is the community. And Officer Tom knows the community inside, outside, and backwards. I'll leave you with the story of observing him during the terrible storms that we had, where trees were down, power lines were down. It was utter chaos. And, we were joking, it's like the zombie apocalypse or something. But I saw that guy zooming around town. We had trees fall on our street that downed some power lines. He was there immediately. He blocked the section off. He told the citizens what to do and said, hey, I'll be back because I got 4 other fires to put out, literally and figuratively. And he just continued to work through the entire day and the entire evening, long into the early morning hours because people needed it. And that's what he was there to do. And so I think for consideration of who should be chief, the chief that we had previous, everyone knew his name. Everyone saw him out in the world. And I think that Officer Thomas done a great job of being out in the world and knowing his community. And so for that reason, I think we should obviously promote from within and not make this an outside search. So that's all I have.
What else?
My name is Shirley Davis, and I'm with Roseville Street.
Oh, good.
And on a much lighter note, when the power was out, we had our dinner that day. You might know. Well, not only we used flashlights and we used candles because we had baked the candles the day before. So we had a gas oven, so it was everywhere. I just agreed with that. We not only did over our 150 that we normally do for dinners, we did 200. And while I was there, and I didn't mean this to come into play, that Officer Tom Dessel called me and said that they wanted to do a grab bag lunch, or a dinner, for people, because the Verona Fire Hall had something else going on and wasn't sure. So we did that, and so John Abel provided all the lunch meat and the cheeses and the bread and so much more water, and everything. So we had a group of people that come up, and we put together the lunches and everything. And don't you know the power from that one? But it was great. And Tom says to me, he says, Shirley, I'm glad we don't have to do spaghetti tomorrow night. I said, me too. So that I just want to thank everybody because everybody's always so good within the community, the people that help do the dinners and provide things. But when things do come down to a push, come to a shove, a lot of good people step in and help.
And we got to thank you for everything that you and your team does for doing those dinners.
Oh, you're welcome. I couldn't do it.
I'm down on 100 Sylvan. And My concern is there's this big thing going on this June first for the dock. And it's basically for the new launch that's on Steel City's dock. But I'm sure there's gonna be people that are gonna wander over that 100 feet to the public dock. Now, the problem is, I was just there this afternoon. It's a risk. And so I think if it's not gonna be fixed before Sunday, you should close it. Steel City, nothing's been done. And it's bad. I can show videos that anyone, really, if any of you wanna see what it looks like down there, dangerous down there, let me know. I have it on my camera. It's not a safe situation. And so either fix it or close it.
What's wrong with that? Several of us.
It's, but they were supposed to replace that and they didn't.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's not the only problem. Yes, there is a bolt missing. So they have it tied up. Okay. Now you go to the other end of the dock and the wood that's underneath the plank on the dock is gone. So when you step on it, it goes down in the water. This concerns me more than the bolt being missing. Because the bolt being missing, at least you can see that there's a gap and you'll step over it. But this place on the dock where it's just rotted out, if you just step there, you're gonna be stepping in water, you could go, oh, and then you could be over. And I'm not sure who would get involved in that, if that's Steel City's thing, or if that would come back on Verona. But the fact that you have to settle one on the first, I can't imagine that everyone's just gonna stay on Steel City stock. So keep that in mind. There's, I hate to see something happen when you have this big event. I want it to be successful. Then I should sign this. Sorry for that. Okay.
I was gonna say, Stephanie, after you call them, can you let us know what they say? What you need the acting name?
Yeah, I just talked to her not that long ago, and there was just new pieces put in. When they replaced the pieces for the new dock, they were supposed to replace pieces. So I'm not sure what's going on, so I'm actually right now looking for her email.
Okay, and if you need help following up, but can you see Sandy too?
Well, I'll get back to you. Let me,
Okay.
because I'm not gonna write a name.
It's just,
Let me see what I can find
zooming
out.
up.
Yeah, it was supposed to be fixed, they told me. It was fixed.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Sam.
I'll get it done right now.
Anybody else?
Evening. Shorter than Sandy.
Name and address.
Leah, 467 Union. I would like to echo the sentiments of everyone who has already previously spoken so eloquently about our friend and neighbor, community member, Officer Tom Dessel. I've heard not only on my street and from people I know, but people I don't know, of how invaluable Officer Dessel is to our community. He's not only everywhere, he's at every event, whether he is working or not, he's helping where he can. He's giving his phone number out to people he doesn't even know to see if they can help him make for a more vibrant community. He's not only the best candidate for Chief of Police of Verona, he's the most deserving. Officer Dessel is the embodiment of community policing. He's, like I already said, he's everywhere. He's at every event, working or not. You've seen him at the Easter egg hunt. You've seen him at all of the community dinners. He's fundraising, he's helping. He's a helper. Last year on our street, there was constant drug activity. It was all hours of the day. It didn't matter. Officer Dessel heard our complaints. He knew of our complaints. He gathered all of the concerned citizens and held a community meeting. He informed us on what he planned to do and how we could help, what we could with our limited power do to help make our community a safer place. And I could love to report, and I do report now, that all of the overt drug activity has ceased on our street. You don't see it. You don't see cars sitting and waiting and running for hours on end. People coming in and out with bags and scales. You don't see the billowing pot smoke coming out of these running cars. It's not there, and that's because of Officer Dessel. Each one of you spoke on safety and our police department staffing problems during your political stump speeches. All of you. This is one problem that has an easy solution, and that's Officer Dessel. Let him be the solution to Verona's problems.
Thank you. Anybody else? No.
Hi, my name is Kelly Collins. I live at 736 4th Street, Verona, PA. I want to do a little bit of a lighthearted thing about Officer Dessel, everything, and I'm for him and everything, but a lot of people don't know the younger Tommy Dessel that I know. That's what he was called when he was younger. My dad was Angelo Noelbo, and he was a custodian at Verona Riverview High School, and he retired from Verona Elementary. And he always had the kids at lunchtime, the 2 lunches, come up and help him with all the tables. And Tommy was always the first kid there every single time to help my dad. He did this for 3 years. My dad helped him. My dad had him do everything. My dad talked about Tommy. I felt like he was my own brother the way he talked about Tommy for all these years. My dad was so proud when Tommy graduated and went into the military. And this is where it gets really funny. Tom went into the military, and one night he come into boot camp, and my brother-in-law just happened to be the drill sergeant in his boot camp. And my dad talked to everybody. We would go on vacation and say, Dad, stay in the car. I don't want you talking to anybody. We got to get on the road. So it was always funny that my brother-in-law Jason and his best friend Chris, when they would get new recruits in, it was just a joke, running joke, that they would say, does anybody here know Angelo Noelbo from Verona, Pennsylvania? Well, it just so happened one night, in the middle of the night, they said that, and there was a kid way in the back. He said, yes, drill sergeant, sir, I know Angelo Noelbo from Verona, Pennsylvania. What are the chances of that happening? And it just happened to be Tom. So they called him up front, and they actually called my dad to see if he, did you know this kid? My dad, yeah, I know Tom. I've known Tommy for a long time. He's a great kid. Well, I know my brother-in-law threw a lot at Tom in drills in boot camp, and Tom stepped up every single time. My brother-in-law always said Tom was one of his best recruits. He stepped up, he never complained, we made it hard for him, he just continued through and pushed through and graduated that boot camp with flying colors. Tom has always been someone to go above and beyond, from 5th grade through boot camp, through the military. And the fact that there's even an ounce of thought to hire outside of Verona, Officer Dessel, it's actually appalling to everybody here. Because you've got everybody here for one thing, Officer Dessel, and it's appalling, and it's just downright, I'll say it, ignorant to even go outside and think of anybody else when you've heard for months and months and months that that's who the citizens of Verona wants. And I think you guys need to get past whatever it is you have against him, because this is totally, I like him, I don't like him. It is, because we hear it, we know what goes on, and it's time to get together as a council and just do it. Just do it. We're all here. You've heard us all talk tonight on what we want. We are the taxpayers. We voted you all in. And this is what every one of us want as a taxpayer. We want somebody here that loves our community, is from our community. He could have been a police officer anywhere, and he chose to come back to Verona and make Verona better. And he has made Verona better. Because not too often you see every single person in Verona know the name of a police officer. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good morning, or good evening, everyone. It's good to see you guys.
Hi.
You guys know me. I love this community. I would do anything for this community.
Eric, say your name. Everybody has.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Eric Close. I live at Vogels Lane, 552 Vogels Lane. I know Tom since high school. Great kid. We weren't close. We were friends. Passing in the hall, hi. Tom sees me get hurt, Tom's the first one there. There's nothing I can say. You already heard it from everyone. The community's talking to you guys. Don't turn a blind eye. We need Tom. There's no one else that can take his place. Since he started, our city or our community has been 10 times safer. I let my kid go to the park by himself now. Before Tom, not happening. There's drugs all over this community. Tom's the one stopping it.
Preach.
We're the voices of this community. We voted you guys in because we thought you guys were the best options to help us. Don't turn a blind eye to the community, guys. I beg you.
Joey Warren, Locals Lane. I want to echo the sentiment of who I've heard speak tonight about Tom. He's been a neighbor to us. He's been a friend to us. He's known at the grocery store, literally at the elementary school, around the community. This last storm we had last month, literally texting, calling, helping people out. He is who I would consider as the chief of our town at this point. So if you guys want to catch up and hear what we're saying as our representatives and represent us, I don't think there's a person here that's going to follow behind me tonight or tomorrow that's going to say it should be anyone but Tom. You're going to work slow. You always do. You're not going to agree because you don't. But that doesn't matter. Some of you just lost recently. You won't be back soon. That's okay. We'll move forward. As someone said earlier, it's already started moving forward. So if you want to join us, it's going to go smooth and fast, or it's going to go slow and rough. But when you get there, whenever it is, I'll be back to have a hometown welcome for Tom when he comes back in the role as chief. So I very much look forward to that. So I look forward to you making that decision sooner than later. Thank you.
I've never seen a room as fast as it is. I hope you guys are seeing that as well.
Bowden Marford, 735 Third Avenue. Although I'm addressing all of council, Councilman Janellis, I appeal to you, whose priority has become one of process rather than the best interest of the residents of Verona, who have urged council by presenting their arguments, many of whom tonight, as a solid basis for hiring Officer Dessel as the chief of police. As many residents stated publicly in the council business meeting 2 weeks ago, as well as tonight, the people's choice of Officer Dessel is not based on popularity. Their choice is based on Officer Dessel's consistent, unbiased, level-headed performance record of service to the residents and businesses in Verona since he joined the Verona Police Department. And for those of you on council who, after the last council meeting, made or agreed with the statement that the attendees speaking in favor of hiring Officer Dessel don't mean anything. You seem to forget that in addition to those individuals who spoke at the last meeting, theirs and other voices will be heard through their votes in November. With respect to the November election, if council cannot come to a consensus to abandon the process to seek prospects from outside the borough and hire Officer Tom Dessel as police chief directly, then following the guidance of the Women's League of Voters, and since thoroughly researching this issue and finding no prohibition in the Verona E-Code 360, we, the people, will move forward with our plan to submit a correctly worded formal petition to the Allegheny County Board of Elections bearing the signatures of a majority of active
registered voters in Verona requesting that a referendum be placed on the November ballot to vote for Officer Dessel as the next chief of police in Verona. A referendum that will undoubtedly shine a negative light on our little town of Verona at election time, when the need for such a referendum exposes to the media the discord between council and the Verona residents and business owners that has resulted from a process that has a purpose when necessary, but not in this case, when hiring Officer Dessel from within to be the chief of police, that for those he serves, believe is the best candidate. And may I just remind you, that referendum will appear on the same ballot on which those same residents will be casting their votes for the Verona council members who we, the people, believe have been or will be acting in our best interest. So for all of you on the dais tonight who are seeking re-election or election to council in November, it should be noted that our vote is our voice. And just as we have exercised our right to speak this evening, we will turn out en masse to exercise our right to vote on a referendum to elect Verona Officer Tom Dessel as chief of police. He has repeatedly proven to many in this town that he is performing his duties in the best interest of its residents and business owners and not in the special interest of the town politicians identified as Verona Council. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any hands?
Yeah, there's some up there.
Nancy's iPad.
It's not mine.
Hi, this is Nancy Schultz, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time. There is an agenda item. It is not nearly as passionate as the previous speakers that I've been listening to. I simply have a question. It's my understanding, and is this an appropriate time that since this is on the agenda that I could make a comment?
Yes.
Okay. On June 21st, there is a request, as I understand, before the Borough Council to close a section of Arch Street. My husband and I live at 222 Arch Street, and we simply don't have enough information on when it's going to be closed. Will we have access to our homes during this period of time? Are we talking about food trucks being on the street, or is this just for parking? Or I'm not one way or the other. I simply don't have enough information and would like, before this is an agenda item and a vote is taken on whether or not we should close the street on June 21st, that the residents of that street have sufficient information to weigh in on what the decision would be.
Can you?
This is a street closure. It's from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Expected attendees is 40. They are doing the Algonquin Youth
Right,
Club
right, I understand, yes.
summer opening event. They're expecting 40 people. And it's all being held there. I think they just wanted people to be able to walk the streets. This was given to me, and they said they talked to you, man.
But how will we be able to access our homes during that period of time, or can we?
Can you access it from Penn Street, your home?
No.
No, we're on the river on
You're on
Arch
the other
Street.
side.
Yes.
No.
I'd like to add to that too. I also live in the same complex at 222 Arch Street. And I thought that when we discussed other street closings, parts of town that the policy or the ordinance or whatever it is that's in place states that the people who want to close the street are supposed to send out a notice, talk to the people whose property or whatever is being affected by the closure. And I don't know about you, Nancy, but I did not receive a knock on the door or a flyer or a letter or anything else.
I will concur with that. I was not aware of that until it was on the
So
agenda.
that process has not been properly followed as far as I know. Because I know that, you know, when we close down East Railroad, all the businesses have to be interviewed and told or ahead of time or whatever. Okay, in the code, yeah, so.
But it's not in the code for residential streets. It's in the code for business, the business district, but I can talk, we can talk to them.
Yeah, well, do you have contact information?
Yeah. I will reach
Can I
out
get
to
that for
them
you? Yeah.
and have them reach out to you guys before you do anything.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nothing from civil service. The only thing I have is, like I said, we had an exec on May 19th for personnel. And COG is having opening of the bids for demolitions on June 16th at 11 a.m. over LSSE building.
Ren, are we not going to do civil service commission interviews?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I bypassed that accidentally. Civil Service Commission interviews.
Before we move on, Ray, do we want to address that?
Yeah, you know, we as council do appreciate the town's support for Officer Dessel. We really do. We had an exec session last week and we put a job advertisement for a police chief. I do not know if we got any advertisements, any applications yet. We got 2 applications apparently. The deadline for applications are on June 23rd. The mayor talked to other towns and there's police chiefs that go around and do all the interviews. And that's what this council has opted to do at this point. Mayor, would you like to speak on that a little bit? Yeah.
We can try it. I think part of the same. That's all right, John. It's going. Yeah, like President Ray said, we did have a meeting last week, and the meeting lasted 2 hours, and it's all we talked about, back and forth, you know, what to do, how do we do it. We put out, you know, applicants for applicants. Do we hire within? And it was just going back and forth. And if anybody, you know, disagrees with what I just said, please speak up, because we were in here for 2 hours. And the more and more people that I've talked to, what they do is they get police chiefs to do applicants. So we had, in my feeling, we have 1 of 3 things to do. Either, like, you know, the board, they're the ones that vote on it. We put it out for applicants and have the 3 police chiefs do the interview, then pick the final 1 or 2, the final 2, 3, depending on how many we get in. Or second of all, my suggestion was to, being that we have 2 officers that would like to put in for the police chief, just do those 2 and have the best man win that way. But, you know, and I appreciate everybody's comments, you know, on how we, you know, would like to, how you all would like to go about doing this. And so I'm going to say to the board, we can't do it tonight because it's an agenda item, I believe, right? Okay, put it on. That you put on.
it needs to be on the agenda 24 hours in advance. yes.
Right, it's not on the agenda today. No, it's not. To put on the agenda for the next meeting, either take a vote on hiring right then and there, or my suggestion will be hiring right then and there. Or, put it out just for internally. I have spoken to, two of the chiefs that are going to be on the board. And they both basically says, why aren't you hiring internally?
Yeah.
Promote Tom! Promote Tom! Because, somebody's gonna get mad no matter what we do, in the department, whether we put somebody out of town in there, they may not like them, they may leave.
So what?
No, I'm just saying, No, I'm just saying, if one or the other gets it, doesn't get it, maybe they will leave, I don't know. That's a chance we gotta, take. But my opinion is that, decisions should be made at the next meeting.
Inquiry?
What's that?
It's a point of inquiry. It's a question.
Question from the audience.
Sorry.
You're a lawyer.
We got.
I'm a lawyer, sorry. Robert's Rules of Order. But for this Board of Chiefs, what is the cost on that? Is that costing the borough
They
anything?
generally donate their time. I don't know what the mayor has arranged, but it's almost always volunteer work.
Right.
Thank you.
So that would be my opinion. I mean, the people, like you all said, you've spoken.
Thank you.
But like I said, it was discussed thoroughly for 2 hours. We started at 6 o'clock and we didn't leave until probably 10 after 8.
Who needs 2 hours of condensing?
Yeah.
All right, they're doing the next meeting. I'll see Tom as our chief next time. Thank you.
We do this, we do that, and we discussed it. And also, we had the attorney here and our HR person here also. And everybody gave their, put in their input on what we should do.
Very good, thanks, Dave.
I'll just.
Okay, we're gonna go to the mayor's items.
Yeah, I got a few things, I got just 2 minor things I just wanted to add. And
Let's do that. You just talked about. Who's talking about that? Civil service. That's what he was just talking about.
Yeah.
What's that?
oh, the alternate.
Oh, civil service, I was thinking, okay.
You want me to go?
Yeah,
Oh, a few things here.
no, it's for civil service. Did you do it with civil service?
We did, I worked them all, we did all the job description, you guys would have given.
Well, I mean, the board does.
They're doing them tonight.
Right.
Okay, okay. We want to do that now.
We'd like to thank the candidates that applied for the 3 alternate positions for the civil service. We appreciate the letters of interest. We've received 3 letters. Can someone confirm that?
We received 3 and 1 turned it down.
OB and Jeff, did you submit separate letters?
No,
Listen.
I submit.
Are you both still interested in applying for?
Yeah, because the majority of this council interacts with each other in a highly dysfunctional manner, I respectfully withdraw my written interest in serving on the Civil Service Commission and until 2026, when a new, hopefully more cohesive council will be leading this town. Thank you.
Thank you, Obi. Sandy, I guess it's appropriate to ask at this time if you are still interested in serving.
I will get a little more first eloquent refusal until the new council gets it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, that being said, we can go to the next item.
Okay, I thought we over the past winter here, we talked about recoding East Railroad Avenue and South Avenue.
We're getting the cost. right now.
Any chance, probably not getting it done by the US Open, huh? Because I know there's an event we're gonna have on, both Verona Oak Lawn Chamber is having an event back here on
The eighth.
yeah, the 8th. It's called TOF. From 9 to 8. And I have written down. It's gonna be sponsored by the Verona Chambers and the Oak Lawn Chambers. And there'll be shuttles from the club, down to Verona. Okay, as long as we, she's gonna start getting that done. The trees on the viaduct, are we gonna do it?
Name and that.
I think it's railroad property.
Contact the railroad. You can find out.
Okay.
Like, they're the ones who can.
Well, don't cut them down, but then it's up to whoever property owner to remove them. Yeah. There was wires still down last week, cable wires on High Street, and they were literally on the sidewalk, and people had to walk around them. And also on First Street, I didn't know about the one on First Street, and Mark Springer and I, he's emergency management, we went up there, we took pictures, and we submitted them to emergency management because Sergeant Franco's tried to get in contact with them, and we could not get in contact with any of the cable companies for whatever reason, which I don't understand. And when I contacted the emergency management, they basically said the same thing. I don't know, it's a big secret that they have a phone number that's not given out, but finally they did get a hold of the cable companies, and they did put a new pole in, and the wires on High Streets were rehung. The street is open, and the same way on First Street. So that is taken care of, and I believe that is the extent of the damage throughout Verona.
I believe the problem was under the pole was arguing between Duquesne Light and Verizon, whose pole it was.
So really,
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot from these storms where poles have gone
But the
down
poor residents had to walk through underneath the pole.
for days. People were figuring out is a Verizon pole versus Duquesne Light. That's ridiculous.
Right. Right. And the other thing we took care of, I spoke to our code enforcement officer about the removal of the tree. I also spoke to our solicitor, Craig, the tree that fell on a house on Peters Street. And when I did talk to him, he said he was just up there that day, and there was a tree company, because the bank owns it, I think it was Citizen, and they were removing it. So that is down. It's not a hazard anymore. Two other things I have, the handicap will be on the action item. And yesterday, we were gonna have, last meeting, we talked about doing something, a certificate. I gave him a certificate. We talked about doing a proclamation for George Sears. He's the manager of Giant Eagle, and not only him, but the Rosenberg's been very good to this community whenever we had any type of disaster, or whenever we had like the bike rodeo. And George has been really super involved in the community. And there was a plaque given to him, and it was donated by a resident, and I gave him a certificate. He was supposed to be here today, but he really didn't want to come, so it was put together real quickly yesterday morning at 8:30. He didn't know nothing about it, and so we honored him yesterday down at Giant Eagle, and I did send a memo out to the board. And the last thing I have is Werner School. Sergeant Franco's, and there's going to be an FBI agent there. She's going to be talking to the kids about being on your phone and on the computer, and they're going to try to get it Riverview to put it not only in this school for on coming years with 10th Street and the high school. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, and one more thing, I'm sorry. It was brought up at the last meeting about, some people thanking everybody for coming out. During that storm, we had all the officers out, Sergeant Franco's, Officer Dessel, because of myself and Ray, with him on the viaduct there, and Officer DeCesar was out, and that was doing a lot of work on the next day. The borough manager, she was involved, fire department, DPW, Public Works, and our school crossing guard, Bill Davis. Next day, even though the road was blocked off on the viaduct, there was still cars going over, and he stood there and corrected people, and actually Officer Dessel gave a lot of tickets out that day because they literally went around the barricade. And it's ridiculous. I believe it was like a $300 fine for going around the
Susie was on
barricade.
too. Susie Davis.
Oh, yeah, Sue was out also. I'm sorry, Sue.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's all I have this time now.
Okay, thank you. You sure?
Honestly, all my notes are gone. Those were just two that I forgot.
Borough Manager Stephanie?
We found out this afternoon that PennDOT will be performing the fog sealing and line cleaning along Allegheny River Boulevard from Center Avenue to the viaduct on Thursday. That means there'll be no parking from 8 to 4 in that construction zone.
From center to the.
Yeah.
About driving.
Well, but I wasn't here the last time. What did they do? I thought they just.
They'll just stripe it like they do in the summertime.
When they fogged it, I thought.
Well, when
that's
they fogged it,
down.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking one.
Maybe they'll just do one side and
then do the other side.
So there'll be one, flagmen, and it might be backed up a bit.
And then it's just gonna get worse because it has to go all the way into the month. Yeah, it's not even close to being done. So. It'll be. Yeah. I'm postponing the fee schedule. Sylvan Way painting is going to be completed Saturday. Text will go out before the painting starts. It's right there by RCC and Nemore Towers. Crosswalks and little men show walking and stuff like that. It shouldn't disturb traffic, but the boys will be out doing it Saturday. They wanted to do it so they didn't interrupt RCC's work.
Thank you.
The dock opening is June 1st from 9 to 1:30. The ribbon cutting is at 9:45. And we'll put it out one more time. And I did get a response back from the dock. There were issues, so we may have a bigger problem than we like to admit.
on the dock, what Nancy was talking about.
No, the dock.
Or Sandy, I mean.
Sandy was talking about, they were supposed to move 2 pieces over. When they went to do it, they realized there was stuff underneath and a lot of stuff that needed to be worked and a lot more expense. So we may have to look at that as part of, when we do the multimodal for Arch Street, is redoing that dock. We may have to do for the summer, either pull that piece or I'm gonna talk to Steel City tomorrow.
I'll just make a note here that we have docks at our property, and Brian at Upward Haven takes them in and out, and when they need work done, he repairs them for us. He's very reasonable. So if it's just a repair, it's possible that maybe he could help.
The guy who was supposed to fix it, they were already in the water dropping in. The assessor dock said that it was a substantial amount of work, more than what they thought. So I have a feeling it's a lot of what's underneath the dock.
Sure, I'm just saying, you might want to look at it as a resource.
Jessica and I are gonna go, Jen and I are gonna go look. I mean, I know about boat docks, I don't know a lot about. So we'll look and see. So it may actually, the piece may have to be taken out, I'm not sure. We'll try to figure it out.
Trish, I won't be there Sunday for the ceremony. I'll be out of town.
Is that it, Steph?
Yeah.
Thank you. Next up, finance report.
April's income was $663,000. Year to date, we're at 1.275 million. Expenses for the month of April were 172,582. Year to date expenses are 751,000. In April, we saw a net income of 491,000. And year to date, that's 524,000. That's because our tax money is coming in. This is our biggest months are March, April, May, and June. And then the rest of the year we have to spend that. Covers that.
Thank you. Next up, Parks and Property, Vince?
Yes, coincide with the new sign at Railroad Park. I have updated Groups marquee sign policy to be related with Groups Railroad Park marquee sign policy. Copy of it. I included language to include those signs, same specifications of the other ones. If you notice, I did add at the bottom, there's an asterisk section which provides the graphic dimensions and specifications for people submitting their own. So that should help the office relay all that information. Be voting on this business week. So take a look at it, and if you have any questions, make sure that you ask them then. Worth now if you've already looked at it and have questions.
Do you have any questions for Vince?
Thanks for taking the initiative on that.
Let me get it done before it got forgotten about.
Thanks, Vince. Next up, Community Relations, Sylvia.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. Our next meeting is going to be on June the 16th at 6 p.m. And we're working on an agenda now. We may even have someone come in and do a speaking engagement on. So our next meeting, I will have a firm update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next up, Finance, Tim. Thanks, Tim. Next up, Public Safety, Nancy.
Thank you. Before I give my report, I have a couple things to say about previous public comment. I don't know if y'all remember an organizational chart that I made copies of for everybody and sent it out. I think I can send it again if you'd like. And what it says on that chart is that the citizens of the community are in charge. They're at the top of the chart. And the council and the mayor come below that. The mayor takes care of the police and the council is basically in charge of everything else, you know, but it, you know, there's a manager who manages and DPW and all those other things. So I also was struck by the statement or reminded by the statement that all of us, I would say just about everyone in this room, it's our taxpayer money that's paying for everything that we pay for, and that includes the police department, and that includes our police chief. I know that we spent some time in an exec session, and I can't go into any detail about that because it is an exec session, and that's the Sunshine Act law. But what I came out, one of the questions I came away with from that meeting as I thought about it since last week was, I am not sure for the people who did not want to just make a motion and hire Officer Dessel, why not? And I still don't know the answer to that question, but I'm open to hearing any answers. And the other question that I'm saying to myself is, why do we want this community, including ourselves? We are part of the community. Have to wait 1-2 more months to go through a process that may very well end up at the same place. So I'm not sure about the answer to that question either. But I will tell you that I do agree with the mayor. And I think that we should put on the agenda for June business meeting to take a vote, and we'll see where it goes. I was not necessarily in favor of doing what we're doing now, and I will say that it's very important in a lot of cases to go through a process, whether it's police or other instances of that have nothing to do with the police. And Verona has been woefully lacking in our process in how we do things and how we decide things in the past. And we are trying to correct that. But I also think that it needs to be done on a case-by-case basis. And in this particular case, it seems like the result is fairly obvious, and all we're doing is spending money that we didn't have to spend, and time that we don't have to wait. So I just want to say that before I started my report.
Thank you. Thank you.
May 22nd, we had a public safety committee meeting. It was moved to Thursday because of the election. And during that meeting, we discussed several items. And a few things came out of that. I proposed that we have a first aid class on October 11th. And I'll be checking with RCAC, the senior center in Oakmont, if they are good with that date. And as I've stated before, I'd like to make it sort of an annual thing, CPR in the spring, first aid in the fall. So stay tuned for that. One of the interesting things that I decided to bring up for conversation and discussion, and this is a workshop meeting, and we can have a discussion here tonight. People who may have thoughts about this can comment during public comment, people from the public. Years ago, when Christine DeRunk was our borough manager, she brought forth the idea of having a public safety fee. And it basically was just per household, a very low number, and per month, like $5 a month. It'd be $60 a year. And that money would be earmarked, like it would have its own fund, and it would be only for things having to do with public safety. So either police, fire, or EMS. And with that $60,000, we could put it toward police equipment, police salaries. We could get our money that we have to pay EMS each year out of that fee. And anything that the fire department might need could come out of that fee. It will take some work. And I wasn't on council for the few months that was being considered. And I am open to any feedback about doing that. Again, I just figure for $5 a month per household, no matter how many people you have living in that house, you know, would be something that we could come up with, and it might help us with some of our issues in that area. The other thing I wanted to update people on, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I think that I heard that this COPS grant, COPS, and I can't remember what it all stands for, is back up for grabs, you know, to apply for. So I just wanted to mention that, and if it is, then maybe we could apply for that.
Can I make a comment on that? When President Clinton was president, he came out with the COPS Fast. It's probably similar to that. And what that did was it was a 3 years. 3 years you got, I believe, 80% of the government paying. Then it went down to 50% that the government paid. Then it dropped down to, I think, 30%. Then after that, the boroughs and municipalities, what have you, that applied for it were on their own. And that really put a boost in a lot of communities back then. And so that's something that did work back then. And I think what you're talking about is kind of similar to that. That may be more in a lump sum.
Okay, well, I would like to talk to you a little bit more about that later, Mayor, because, I don't know all the details. I just wanted to mention it to bring it, to people's awareness. Couple of things that, people have brought to my attention, as I go shopping at Giant Eagle or whatever, who I run into. And it's a couple of things that came up at another committee meeting. On our right turn on red signs, there's a big red round dot.
They're supposed to be, they're all gone, yeah.
They're faded out, and I just didn't know how hard it would be to make them red again, like take a red Sharpie and go color it or something. I don't know.
That would depend on, if you hold a pen dot or not, or if you hold a pen dot.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, PennDOT, that'll take forever, but anyway.
Well, they're painting right now, so that could be.
Maybe they could do it while they're here. Yeah, that'd be lovely. Stuff this might involve you the most. We had talked at the last meeting about putting what they call piano keys crosswalk, right? Over here on Cross Center Avenue, right as it intersects with East Railroad. That's something we don't need anyone's permission, but our own could do. If the DPW, if we agree, if DPW could do that, at least we would have, it would maybe bring people's awareness to the fact, like, slow down, there might be some pedestrians here. So that was one thing. Another one, apparently we have the light poles that were knocked down several years ago through accidents. They're sitting in the garage.
We're waiting for concrete to be poured. The insurance company, we're fighting with an insurance company to get it covered because they won't cover the
So we have the poles, but they won't cover the installation?
Yeah, basically. So we're still fighting with them.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask you, and if you can remember, it's okay. If you can't, just call me, but when they finally do put the pole over by Billy Kay's on South, the planter was put over where the pole was. The wires are underneath the planter. The garbage can is where the planter should be. And the garbage can should be further up the street toward ARB when we put the pole in. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but they just quickly put the planter in because that one wasn't destroyed. They fixed the garbage and put it where the planter is supposed to go. So whenever we do that, if we could put them back.
Yeah, we're still fighting. We've been fighting with the insurance company for the concrete.
Is there
It has to
any?
be bolted.
Yeah.
And all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, is there any way to expedite that process?
I've talked to Kevin. Kevin's the one who does all the insurance.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we should just go ahead and do it, then worry about getting paid for it.
Yeah,
I mean, one way or the other, it's gotta be done.
how much would it cost is the question.
I don't know.
I don't either, maybe AJ would know?
I doubt it, but I'll have AJ call a concrete I'll talk to Matt, and have a concrete company come in and do it. I'm just not sure the cost.
Okay, me either, have no idea, but, maybe we could expedite that. In the same way you're talking, like we put a lien on it, would be kind of like putting a lien on the insurance company in a sense, is what you're saying, Mayor?
Pretty much, I mean, we can, it could be, another 2-3 years and the pole needs to go up.
Yeah, well, there's two of them.
I mean, it's like getting your car wrecked. You gonna wait for the insurance company? No, you go get it fixed, you pay the body shop and then to go after, I mean, you can't just keep letting it,
Yeah,
go without.
and this didn't start with Stephanie, this has been.
Right, it's
before
been done, right,
Stephanie's here. Yeah. But anyway, there's one on South and one on ARB across from the post office, I
That's the
think.
big one.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to bring that to light. And then one other thing, apparently there are some light bulbs in our street lights that are burnt out. Hope that we would be able to just replace the light bulbs. One is across from the boulevard, across center, like on the get-go side.
You mean the Duquesne lights?
Well,
No,
there
our
are lights.
No, top ones.
No, the short
Pole
ones.
lights we have,
Yeah,
decorative ones.
I'll ask
Yeah.
the boys.
yeah, and maybe I'll go look and find out where the other one is, I don't remember. But anyway, light deters crime, and I think the more light we have, the better.
Yeah, the lights
better
are,
off we are.
pulls up on them, like, look.
So the other thing we talked about at the public safety meeting was the handicap parking designation policy. And I made some recommendations, some people brought up some suggestions. I guess what I could do, just in the interest of time, unless anybody has, I didn't get any feedback from anybody other than at the meeting. So I could summarize, put in the email, share with everybody in a Word document. If anybody has any objections, please have them to me a few days before the next meeting on June 10th. And if I don't hear from anyone, then we'll just pass it as is. On June 10th, yes. So unless, you know, you guys have copies, if anyone wants to discuss it now. I mean, it is a workshop meeting, we're here to discuss things. If anybody wants to make any input right now, that would be fine. If not, my next public safety meeting will be on Tuesday, June 17th at 5:30. I have them in person and on Zoom, and anyone is welcome to attend. And that's it for me, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Strategic planning, Trish?
Thank you, Mr. President. First and brief, like Nancy, I also just want to make a quick comment that we see that the public has come here tonight en masse to make a large and very vocal statement. And we appreciate your enthusiasm. It's also clear from the public comments tonight in general that we as a council have not acted with the urgency and timeliness that you expect and deserve. For that, on behalf of council, I'm sorry. But I do want to plead with all of you for unity, because it's not Team Verona versus council. We are all Team Verona. We also can't fix the mistakes that we've made in the past, but I'm looking forward with your input tonight, catalyzing this process as we move towards new shape leadership. In regards to my strategic planning committee meeting, we did hold our last meeting on Wednesday, May 21st. We covered several of the grants that have been recently awarded or are in the process of being awarded, most notably the 2023 DCED multimodal grant for sidewalk improvements. We have a walkthrough scheduled tomorrow at 12 o'clock that any walking enthusiasts are welcome to join us here at the Verona Borough Building until about 2 o'clock, where we will walk the path that is slated for sidewalk repair and improvement. I also want to mention, I'll probably keep mentioning it through July, that the final public meeting is scheduled on Tuesday, July 29th at 6 p.m. at Still City Rowing. This is the last opportunity to provide any feedback you may have on the VOT Verona Oak Platform and Hills multi-municipal trail effort to connect Still City Rowing to Boyce Park. So please spread the word, please come. We'd love to see as many people here tonight at that meeting, if not more. I also want to thank Dr. Carpenter for mentioning, I know our committees overlapped a bit on some of the transportation infrastructure needs and updates, so thank you for covering that. Also, the next strategic planning committee meeting will be on Wednesday, June the 18th at 4 o'clock, also in person and online, so hopefully we will be able to join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Trish. Next up, personnel, Johnny Jamelis.
Thanks, Rick. So before I begin my presentation, I just wanted to tell everybody here that thank you all for your sentiments here tonight. I just wanted to let you know that I've heard you all loud and clear. And trust me, I am hearing you. I have heard from you. I appreciate all of your thoughts and your words. And we are working diligently to get this issue involving the chief position done as expeditiously as possible. And I am taking your words very seriously, personally. That's all I have to say is on that matter. So I thank you all for, coming here tonight and voicing your opinions. As residents of Verona, as concerned residents of Verona. You know, I'm, as a fellow resident, you know, I've been concerned about public safety. That's why I got on this council to begin with. And so, you know, my focus is to rebuild the police department. And I'm gonna do that with the help of everyone, whoever's on the council, all of our, you know, officials, our, you know, employees, everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I can in my power to rebuild this police department. Everyone's gonna let you all know that. I heard you. Thank you. So if, can I have the, board there for a minute? Share the. Yep.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. So, number one, we had our last personnel meeting, we had, Tracy, our, HR consultant in attendance. We were working on a number of our, HR projects. And we are in the process of finishing our handbook. So I wanted to kind of give you an update of what's going on with that. If I can find my last. Oh, here we go. Here's the timeline. So we'll start with that.
You have to go on.
Well, wait,
and hit share.
Well, I am on. Wait. Again. Terrible. Start broadcast. Screen broadcast, right? Screen. Start broadcast. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Right now, I need to get back into my. I don't know if you can see this. No.
The people on Zoom can see it here.
I hope you can see it. Anyway, I'm sorry for this.
No.
So anyway, we have the employee handbook, our due dates, so we're looking to finish our employee handbook here by June. So we have I have a one-page summary of some changes that we've made. I'm gonna pull that up here in about a minute. We're still working on performance reviews. We're hoping to get that wrapped up by the end of the summer with all our, you know, some stuff that we're tweaking. Job descriptions, you can see recruitment strategy, hiring process, flow chart. We're also working on a citizen complaint policy. We're looking at 4 cities. And if you recall, we had that last meeting. So we are kind of modeling something based off of what they had. So we're gonna hopefully have something in place for that. And so that we can handle citizen complaints, you know, more urgently, more effectively, and a lot quicker. We also talked about the organizational chart. Now, Nancy just talked about the organizational chart. So we wanted to have something placed online so that everybody can see how local government works. You know, even if, you know, let's say if it's a high schooler that's just learning about local government, what does Verona Borough do? Who are, you know, what do our officials do? And who are they, who's responsible for what? And so we were looking at a couple of different flow charts, but it was interesting what Nancy brought up. You know, at the top of the flow chart is always the people. Always. So we're going to construct something rather simple, I hope, and have that on, you know, put it on the website for everyone to see. You know, I had wanted to, you know, put names and stuff like that, but we just wanted to keep it simple, I think. And just, I mean, and the names would change, it costs money to, you know, switch them up all the time.
That's
You know,
that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking at different designs, we just had like, you know, not a debate, more or less discussion about how we were gonna design it. But that was about it on that. I'm hoping I can pull up that. I had it saved earlier and I apologize for the delay here. I'm hoping I can pull up the one page, it was a one page, summary on the, handbook. Sorry. Oh, First of all. For some reason, oh, that's all right. I won't waste any more time on that. Anyhow, we have a number of, you have your, what on yours?
I don't.
Let me see that. 1 second, I'm sorry. No, it's the one page, I just had it saved in my setting. Well, anyhow. I'll skip over that for now. We have a one-page summary of, basically, we updated the, personal leave policy. There were some other, things regarding, bereavement, some of the other issues we had talked about with employees. There was like maybe 4 or 5 items on there that I wanted to discuss, but that's okay. Yeah. Oh, sure. My apologies for not being able to get that filed on.
Do you want to read it?
Well, I can't find it.
I can.
Be able to-
You want to zoom it? You want to read it?
Yeah. Fine. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Thanks, I'm sorry. I don't know why I couldn't find it. So, yeah, okay. So the, highlights on the, changes. So the employment investigations, we talked about any type of, third-party investigations with regards to, any type of like, harassment or, you know, anything regarding, any type of, employee complaint that would be handled by an independent party. It would either be the solicitor or an HR consultant. The other item that we added would be any necessary compliance with all federal and state regulations, including but not limited to American with Disabilities Act and Title VII. We included all yearly performance reviews and exit interviews. We added unpaid personal leave policy up to 30 days. We added a sick leave policy for non-uniformed personnel, which includes up to 3 sick days a year. We also added a medical leave policy for unpaid medical leave up to 30 days. We included a workers' compensation reporting procedure. We added a progressive disciplinary process. And we had an appendix that has a couple of new forms, time off request forms, performance review form, personnel update form, discrimination harassment complaint form, report of injury, work-related complaint form, post-vehicular accident form, and workplace incident. Those are basically, it's a summary of all the updates for the candidate. Lastly, civil service update. We are, the Civil Service Commission had met with Les Leisure, who was the former chair of the Oakmont Civil Service Commission, to iron out details as to how to proceed with testing procedures, the new testing procedures, just different things regarding civil service, so we can, move forward with hiring full-time police officers more expeditiously. There are still some technical details we have to iron out. Some legal details we're gonna have to get Craig involved with. So I spoke with Meredith Sheridan the other day. We're going to meet, our committee, personnel committee is going to meet with civil service to discuss some of the issues. And hopefully we'll get Craig involved as well, and get some of that stuff resolved, so we can get civil service rolling on the hiring process. Other than that, that's all I have. And once again, based on our, the earlier comments, like I said, I heard you all loud and clear, and I appreciate everyone coming out here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean. Next up, ordinary items. Take a motion to accept the minutes of February 25, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Provenza. Any questions?
Charlie's name is still misspelled, but we'll correct that.
Oh, it is? Because I did some.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Action items. I'll take a motion to approve a handicap parking spot at 424 Penn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Jamelis,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Table the next one.
Table, yeah, please.
We need a motion to table the motion to approve Algonquin's request to close the street.
Make the motion to table the motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Trish.
Trish.
I didn't know. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Need a motion to approve the Verona Eagles request to close East Railroad from South to James for the Eagles family picnic on August 16th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So,
Any question?
Motion,
Motion's on the table. I'll make a motion.
motion by Ms. Rezak,
Do we have a second?
That's a question first.
Questions come after
There's a
the
second.
motion, the seconds on the floor.
the second,
Can someone second?
Second.
second by Mr. Jamelis. Any questions?
Yes, I feel comfortable making a second, not knowing if the rest of the businesses on that block notified. That's
Yes.
all I need to know.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
And they don't shut down, actually, that far.
Next up's announcements and information. Ms. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to start with newsletter. We are currently working on our autumn edition of the newsletter, which will cover September, October, and November. Ads and articles are going to be due on Friday, August the 1st. And for articles, our editor, Donna Ward, can be reached at 412-828-3607 or at Verona Newsroom gmail.com. And for the ads, I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, I don't know if you all know, we do have a new president now. And I'm pleased to tell you it's Officer Lundell. He's our president of Chamber, and he's already stepped up to the plate and doing some wonderful things. And our next chamber meeting is going to be held on Tuesday, January 17th, here in the borough building.
June.
It's okay, it starts with a J, starts with a J, we're good, starts with a J.
It's not that warm out. I'm having a hard time figuring.
It's June 17th.
Tuesday, June 17th at 7 p.m. and I apologize.
Hopefully it'll be out of the 60s then, right?
Maybe it'll be 75. The next would be Twin Borough Ministries, and the community dinner is going to be held tomorrow, May 28th, here at the Methodist Church from 4:30 to 6:30. And a big thank you to Shirley Davis. She does a lot. She's done a lot for many years. And but she does a wonderful job.
She sure does.
Yes, yes, she does. Next would be Historical Society. Our next meeting is going to be held on Thursday, June 17th, here in the Borough Building at 7 p.m. And this is going to be a tribute to a man that many of you know. He may have been your teacher. And the tribute is going to be to Coach Joe Zelli. He was not only a coach, he was a teacher. He was even my teacher, son's teacher. Wonderful man, wonderful family. So it's going to be a great evening, and it's also going to honor the Apaches from Verona High School. And yes, that's the other one. I thought it was two. Anyhow, the speaker will be Verona's John Shaw. And it'll be a nice evening. I invite all of you to come. Matter of fact, these historical society meetings are wonderful. I want to send a big thank you out to our Rhoda. Rhoda, you do a great job. Thank you so much. Wonderful job. Thursday, June 17th.
No, Thursday, the 19th.
I'm sorry, 19th. Here in the Borough Building, 7 p.m. And another add-on to the Historical Society, the first field trip of this year is going to be on Saturday, June 21. And it's going to the Harmony Museum in Harmony, PA. And those that are interested in attending can be here at the Borough Building on that date. And it will be, the people will be leaving from here at 11:30. And the tickets for the museum are $7 for seniors, it's $6. And I will say, these meetings that Rhoda puts together are absolutely wonderful. You learn things that you never knew even existed, and some of them actually pertain right here to our own town or our own vicinity. So we invite you to come. It's a wonderful night out. Along with the Allegheny League of Municipalities, they are finalizing their golf outing at Diamond Run Golf Club, and that is their main thing they're working on now. And hopefully next month we'll have other new information from them. And our community relations meeting, as I mentioned earlier, that will be on Monday, June 16th, and we may have an outside speaker coming in to speak. And before I sign off, I would like to thank each and every one of you here for being here tonight. It's very refreshing to people like us who serve up here to see that we have that many people who are not only interested in your community, but you care enough to be here. And I thank each and every one of you. I appreciate you being here. And know that you're always welcome here. This is an open meeting. If you have any feelings, any thoughts, anything that you think would make the town better, or something maybe a little on the ladies' side, we're here, and we're here to listen. So don't be reluctant to come. We welcome you. And I thank you very much.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Yes, you're welcome.
I too would like to thank everybody for coming out and speaking their mind and telling everybody what the town's feeling. Encourage you, we understand. We're taking big steps here, so thank you. For comments on public? Oh, the ARB Preservation Association plan is available on the website under planning documents. Anybody want to speak on that?
I did last time. If anyone has questions, it's a wonderful work put together by really to make ARB historical byways, historic preservation status.
Thank you. Now we'll take comment from the public.
Hi, it's Andy. So, but I am tonight addressing you as the Verona Community Group. Okay, as many of you might have heard, we started a sidewalk social program here in Verona. It's supposed to take place the second Wednesday of every month. And they're supposed to be throughout Verona. And this is supposed to be an opportunity for neighbors to meet neighbors. We had one down here on Sylvanus Sheridan. There was one up, I think it was Parker, and then there was one on 4th last month. Like I said, we're hoping to do this every month. And the thing is, as part of public safety also, it's important that you know your neighbors. This isn't supposed to be something where you come and have a big party. This is supposed to be where you at least touch base. You know, if you could just come for 5 minutes and say, hey, you know, I'm still here. I'm still your neighbor. I'm glad you're all here. That's great. You don't have to stay. But I really would like to encourage everyone to please come to these sidewalk socials. Maybe facilitate one for us, because we'll be a stronger community if we know each other. Okay, so that's, I just wanted to bring that up to remind everyone as part of the Verona community.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Wait, can I add it on? Well, that's fine. Go ahead, Sylvia. I'll sign in.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Sylvia, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sure that you've all noticed we have a brand new sign down at Railroad Park. And I am delighted that we finally got it. I helped design it. I hope you like it. And we did get it through a grant. We didn't spend taxpayer money. And I think it turned out beautifully, and I hope you all will find it helpful as you drive by, because it always lets us know what's going on. So thank you, and excuse me.
Susie Davis, Bridge Avenue. I have a question. I asked the borough workers last week why they weren't street cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
Our street cleaners broke again. How many times are we gonna keep paying to get it fixed? Wouldn't it be a better investment for the borough to get a new one, even a used one, that will be there every week? You know, because people make the adjustments, they park on opposite sides. And then they complain because they don't come up. And while we're on that, about the parking, the sign does not say street cleaning. Years ago, I got a ticket and I argued the street sweeper was broke. And they said, the sign said no parking, it does not state that. Why is the tickets not being handed out on the days, even when the street cleaner is broke? That's money for the borough.
You're saying why is the tickets being handed out?
Why there is.
They should still be handing out tickets,
Yeah.
you're saying? I agree.
Because years ago, I said probably about 15.
Because it says just no
It
parking.
just says, there's no parking, doesn't say street cleaning, doesn't say snow removal or anything, it says no parking in space. So get the,
I will look into that.
yeah, because I said Cause on my street, there would probably be on the average of 3 to 5 cars. Yeah, so that's an easy money into the borough, you know, and I said, I don't want my neighbors to get it, but you know what, if they can't follow the rules, pay the price. Because I had to pay that price because I argued with them, they said it wasn't street cleaning, just said no parking. So get it out there and get a new street.
I'll take care of that tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you.
Is it still broke?
I know they're waiting on Carter.
Oh,
yeah, I did come out
The
today.
next one's like 125,000.
Yeah, they're very, very expensive street sweepers are.
I'm
A new
sure.
one's like, several years ago, a new one was $250,000. So like she said, now a used one, that we'd be lucky probably to get one for
I think you're
$125,000.
dealing with someone used junk.
Yeah, so that
Well,
would
I
be,
said,
but I concur, I mean, I wish we could. I don't know
I
if we
said,
can
you
get a
gotta do
grant.
something because at least once or twice a year it breaks down.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Sandy for Vicky Bell. I was just wondering, how much do the taxpayers pay for the text alert system that we all have?
Is
It's a yearly fee, right?
a yearly fee, yeah. They just pulling it up for you.
It's about 3,000.
Oh. The old one was about 2,400.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And who is responsible for putting out the alerts? Mayor, borough manager?
We try to get them as quickly as we can. We try to do stuff that like.
Who is we? That's
Like me, DPW will tell us if something needs, PennDOT will call us and tell us if something needs to go up.
the reason why I'm asking is when that horrible storm came through, within this first 72 hours, I received 6 text alerts from the borough of Oakmont. I knew street closures, I knew where lines were done. In that same amount of time, I received 2 from Vernon. One about the garbage disposals coming in. And one about that, I even forget what the first one was about. But Oakmont put out that, you know, as soon as the borough knew what was going on with Duquesne Light, they would put out a text alert, which they did. And I think, Trish, you even said you have the same thing, so you probably got the same alerts.
Right.
So I was just wondering, last month, I suggested that instead of you all saying when your meetings are gonna happen, why don't we get text alerts when these meetings are going to happen? Now, Mayor, I think you took up the idea because the very next night, I received a text alert about your meeting at the fire hall. I think it's a great idea. Why can't a text alert go out about the street cleaning machine? If there won't be any, but you're still gonna be tagged. I mean, it just makes better communication for the public. And I think it's an easy fix if we're paying $3,000. The other thing I am a walking enthusiast, you call it us, I like it. My husband and I do a lot of walking around up on the level parts of the hill. And last week, as I was walking, my drive usually takes me past Cribs Field, and my understanding, Cribs Field is borough property. And I'm assuming that the fence around the field is borough property. I'm also assuming that the sidewalk is borough property. So I was watching the doggy poop station get more and more built. Until one day, as I was walking past, and man, I could smell it. It was laying out on the sidewalk. So I thought, okay, borough property, this is DPW, maybe they just forgot about it. So I called down to the borough and the borough manager answered the phone. And I said, I'm just saying, you know, I saw them cutting the grass and everything, so I thought maybe they just forgot about it. And she says, actually, there was a resident in Verona who was responsible for it. And I thought, a resident is responsible for emptying the doggy poop station. So I called the person whose name I was given, and she explained to me how this all happened. And she was able to get this doggy poop station to go on the fence at Cribsfield on borough property. It had happened back in 2020, the pandemic. But now 5 years later, why is a resident still responsible for emptying the dog poop station? And if that resident should move out of Verona, then who's responsible for it? Don't say me, because I won't do it. Okay, even though I know what you all think. Okay, don't give it to me. I think that needs to be reconsidered as to who is responsible for emptying this dog poop station, which is deeply needed. So the suggestion, I'm not saying to remove it. I'm saying it has to be reassigned.
Sandy, I could answer your question. We are considering, because we've noticed that people are putting rocks in it, bricks, kitty litter, bags of urine. And I don't think that DPW or anybody should be in charge of removing hazardous material like that when people in this town blatantly disrespecting something that you tried to provide for them. So we've talked it over in Parks and Rec for months. We've talked it over in Parks and Property. We think that the only viable solution would be to remove the receptacles from poles and leave the dispensers for the bags. Unless you have a better solution.
There's a lot of people that walk their dogs. When I'm walking, I see lots of people. So to remove it, I don't know if that's the best answer. Maybe you can come up with something else. Thank you.
I'm open to suggestions.
Thanks, Sandy. Anybody else? Leanne?
I just wanted to speak on what Sandy and Vince were just talking about. I know there is a borough business that is in charge of those. Now, they were asking for volunteers, and I know there are 2 11-year-olds that do volunteer to take care of the one on the Cribs or the 2nd Avenue side of Cribs. And one of them is my child. We are up there 3 days a week. And the reason that you saw it as bad as it was last week and the week before is because, like Vince said, there is somebody that is dumping an entire litter box full of cat litter in the bags, and they are way too heavy for anyone to lift. I've even had my husband and my father come and try to lift these bags. Then they rip, and then it becomes a borough issue because there's cat litter all over the sidewalk. We have made posts, we have made signs. There's other people that have left signs and post things. To be honest, whoever is doing it is ignorant and they're rude. We have asked nicely. These kids are volunteering their time to try to change these, to make sure that everything is cleaned up. They don't step in it when they're playing. But whoever it is continues to put at least 3 times a week, continue to put bags and bags full of cat litter in there.
We have cameras.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, let me look into that, to see where I know we have cameras up there, but maybe we could.
I don't think they get that close.
Well,
Don't go off there.
the pavilion one can zoom all the way over to the basketball court.
Yeah, try.
Unfortunate.
Let me look into that also. Yeah.
The sign has to say no cat litter. I mean,
The sign does say dog waste only.
Wait, you shouldn't have to say that.
This has been going on for 3-4 years.
Very unfortunate that people abuse the generosity of other people by taking advantage of a situation like that, and that it's possible that the only solution is to take it down, then what are people gonna do with their dog poop?
Walk it, hold it.
I mean, what did they do?
But they don't. They don't, they leave it on the
Thing, I see a lot of
side of the
people,
road.
I see a lot of people walking with bags with their dogs.
In 2020, 2019, it happened.
Right.
Dog
So,
poop.
But
after that.
Yeah.
And I want to make this dog, I see a lot of people's little green bags in people's boulevard grass, it's out there at the curb.
Yeah,
I pick them up.
Yeah.
But because dog poop brings rats.
Mhm.
They love dog poop.
Yeah.
people tried very hard
The roof.
to come up with a solution. And, you know, it's just a shame. I'm just sorry that's happening, really.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Leslie. Anybody else? Take a motion to adjourn? Motion by Tim. By Sylvia, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
People to see it.